My name is Neil Jones, and I'm on Egnyte's governance marketing team. Joining me today is Jeff Sizemore. He's our Chief Governance Officer, and we're going to discuss how to manage ransomware more effectively. Welcome, Jeff. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. Thanks for having me, Neil.
I think our viewers would love to see how technically they can address ransomware, so maybe we can get started there.
So we've been taking some really robust security approaches to this. So in our governance tool, as you know, Neil, we support many repositories like your OneDrive, your SharePoints of the world. And we're looking for a few things here. And really, the whole solution plays to this problem because it's not just a matter of things like, do I detect ransomware, which I do. Certainly, I'm looking at things like 0 days here. So if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I'm going to assume it's a duck. And that's what you're seeing is, we've seen a file here associated to this service account. We can see that here's the ransomware name that we're finding. And this folder, when we look at this folder, this is where the information is. I can download these affected files. I can triage this as a security resource and figure out what's happening. So we're detecting it. And when we detect it, we send an alert immediately out to the administrators so they can see this as, hey, there's a new ransomware attack. So you can go in and remove them from your system. If anything should occur, it's just a couple of files, just revert back the versioning, so you're good to go. But there's a lot of other things you have to do. Like if something were to occur outside of just preventative stuff, you want to make sure that if something were to occur, the scope is minimized. And so you want to manage your permissions. You want to make sure that you get a great permission hygiene, how you're managing it, who has access to these folders, what they have access to, and how they can see that, as you're seeing here, and continuing to manage these permissions as you should. So the other thing is you have to understand what sensitive content is, right? If something were to be stolen, something were to occur, we need to know what it was, right? So we need to be able to look and understand specifically what type of content that they got access to. And so we can see, but now that we've classified everything and everything in the systems are all classified for you, it's easy to take a look and say, okay, everything is sensitive. My credit card numbers, the PII, we know GDPR, all of this stuff, we know where this information is. And the next thing you're going to want to know is, well, how were they affected then, right? How was it affected? Well, between April 4th and April 9th, this user, myself, was infected, and I can see that there were 12 breach files total it's not the files that I have access to here, it's the files that I actually accessed during that period of time. So we can see it's 12 files, 398 subjects impacted, 13 socials, and 8 bank account numbers. So this is exactly what you would need if something were to occur. Again, we do a lot to minimize it. We do a lot to isolate permissions. We do a lot to report to kick you out of the system. But again, we still want to make sure if something were to happen, you know the 3 or 4 users that were affected. Of course, we try to prevent it, as I said, but again, we want to make sure we cover this all the way through. So we have great reporting here to go to the auditor within that 48-hour period as an example and say, well, here are our subjects, here's how they've been notified, here's what's going on, all the data is back, our systems are up and running, we lost a couple of files, no big deal. So it really turns what could be, a ransomware event into, an IT help desk function and something that is very simple if it should occur. But again, we do things like 2FA in the system. We make sure that the device is only able to sync data to devices that you trust, as an example, something that is on your network, something that already has AV malware running. So all of these things come into play of what systems and what are allowed to actually access and work with your systems today. So there's a lot here, a lot of defense and depth stuff. Love to spend more time on it at a later date. But Egnyte is really well covered in the ransomware area, and it's really simple. Egnyte customers don't pay ransom. So we do a lot today. We're going to continue doing a lot and evolving, but it's just today it's a nuisance. We don't want it to even be that. We're continuing to work to automate and make this and streamline this even better.
Thanks, Jeff. Really appreciate all your insights and your experience here. If our viewers are interested in learning more, visit our ransomware page on egnyte.com. And there is also a chat function if you'd like to connect with us. Thank you very much and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.